I'd like to thank the Cleveland County Democrats for inviting me to speak tonight. And I'm really excited that I bought this big, beautiful basket of tomatoes. And then after I bought them, I was out in the hallway and Tim Malden ran into me and he said, "Good thing you bought those tomatoes, Cathy. Now if no one likes your speech, they can't throw them at you." It's like, really? Okay, so on with the speech. Is anybody tired of Republicans and Democrats complaining that they can't get along? We hear the word polarization. The vote was drawn along party lines. We hear the words Mitch McConnell and John Boehner, and our stomachs start to feel upset. A Republican sees an Obama bumper sticker, and they want to knock out the windows of that car. But this is where we are in 2013. But I have an idea that both sides might be able to agree on. Maybe for different reasons, but who really cares about the reasons so long as we agree? Now, if my fellow Democrats in the room can hold back their prejudices while I'm giving this speech, and I would like to ask the same for any Republicans in the room, if there are any, to do the same. And here's the idea. Republicans think we need to get people off of welfare and food stamps. And yes, I know I'm saying this a little bit nicer than they do. And the Democrats want to raise minimum wage to over $10. Now, there is something that will work to solve both of these problems. Now, nationally, a living wage is slightly over $10. And locally, it's in the $9 range. So we can kill two birds with one stone by agreeing to raise wages to the $9 range. Now, this will get loads of people off of food stamps and welfare because now they can afford to buy their own food, which solves the Republican complaint. It would also raise wages, which would solve the Democrats' complaint. Now, Republicans say we have to keep wages low in order to attract business, and they also want to keep taxes low. The problem is, low wages are an illusion. If you honestly believe that going to the world's biggest hamburger chain and ordering something off the dollar menu and it actually only costs $1, you're living in a dream world. For every employee they have that makes $7.25 an hour, that means you and I and everyone in this room are donating $2 an hour for their benefits. Now, I don't know about all of you, but I didn't agree to that. And I don't even eat there, and I'm still paying for it. Now, we as the population are underwriting every employee at that restaurant and many others just like them that don't pay a living wage. We're underwriting their wages through food stamps, through Sooner Care, through welfare, through subsidized housing, and school lunch programs. And that's no joke. I've owned multiple restaurants, and these are the facts from a business person's perspective. Now, Republicans say they don't want government in business. They want less regulation. But whether you and I eat at the world's biggest hamburger chain or not, we are paying for their employees and they are making a profit off of it. Now, if you're going to give business people an advantage, then they're going to take it. And if you're going to allow business people to pay their employees and the government is going to pick up the tab for the rest of it, what businessman in their right mind wouldn't do it? I'll take free money, wouldn't all of you? Now, I'll tell you what's really upsetting. There's no outrage in the Republican Party over this. Some businesses regularly give their employees only 28 hours of work per week so the employees can keep their government benefits, their food stamps, their subsidized housing, Sooner Care, etc. And these are the same business owners who are complaining about a problem that they helped create. Now, when do we as a state decide that we're going to make businesses stand on their own 2 feet? I never agreed to underwrite the biggest hamburger chain. I have my own businesses to run. Now, these are their bills we're paying. This isn't just the world's biggest hamburger chain or the world's biggest discount store. This is anyone in our state who pays less than a living wage. Now, I really do hope you've heard of this before. I really do hope so. But if not, you have to share this information with your friends. The working poor are not our enemy. Even though Fox News might tell you that they are every single day, they're doing whatever they can just to get by. Now, for me, every decision I make in my restaurants affects 25 families. If I make a bad decision, it affects 25 families. And if I make good decisions, that affects 25 families. Now, I made the decision years ago to pay a living wage to my employees at my restaurants. And I know you're probably thinking, what does that have to do with anything? But I learned in business that my employees are my most valuable asset. And by paying them and treating them well, I've retained a huge pool of permanent employees. That's the reward for doing the right thing. So I'd like for you to keep in mind, we do have an idea that Republicans and Democrats could easily agree on. And it would make for a better place in Oklahoma. The struggles of the working poor are nothing to be scoffed at. They are real. And they are painful. I honestly believe that I was put in this position to stand up for people who are not able to stand up for themselves. I chose to run for office as a Democrat because I honestly believe that someone has got to stand up for those people who can't. And I'd like each and every one of you in this room to join me on this path. Now, it's hard to be a Democrat these days. People badmouth us. They make fun of us. They think we're all drug addicts or lazy or unemployed. You should see all the nasty things that people put up on my campaign website. They call me a liberal baby killer. Yes, I've been called a welfare queen. I've been called a traitor to my people. I've even been told that as a woman, I shouldn't be allowed to run for office because of what was written in the book of Timothy. Yes, I know. Now, how do we become the party that rebuilds this state? How do we become the idea party and not the reaction party? It's okay to get involved, not just politically, but directly. And I have a low-tech solution to this problem. When you get involved, wear your Democratic shirt. Have someone take a picture of you and post it on Facebook, on Twitter, and on Instagram. And if you don't know how, do what I did. I asked my kids to show me, or ask your grandkids. Be a good neighbor. Have an immediate effect on your neighborhoods. Pick up trash on your morning walk and have someone take your picture, post it on Facebook, on Twitter, and on Instagram. Have your kids ask an elderly neighbor if they need their lawn mowed. Have someone take a picture of it, put it on Facebook and on Twitter and on Instagram. Be caught doing a good deed. Have somebody take a picture, post that on Facebook, on Twitter, and on Instagram. Now, there were many of us at the 50th anniversary Martin Luther King March wearing our Democratic shirts. And just on my Facebook alone, thousands of people saw these photos. And then other Democrats reposted those photos. And thousands more saw those photos on their Facebooks, on their Twitter pages, and on their Instagram. Now, what better way to advertise for Democrats that we're part of the solution rather than complain about being part of the problem? And most importantly, it's free. Now, yeah. Now, I love this state. I want my grandchildren and my great-grandchildren to grow up here. And my favorite quote is from President John F. Kennedy, and he said, "Ask not what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country. And when you do it for your country, be a proud Democrat. Wear your Democratic shirt, take a picture, post it on Facebook, on Twitter, and on Instagram." I'm Cathy Cummings, and I want to be your next Lieutenant Governor of this great state of Oklahoma.